Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another exciting and everything and amazing Propagandacast with me, your host, Pearl Dane, the one and only Master Propaganda, off here to a 1v1 on Twin Beaches. Finally, we're back on Twin Beaches. I don't know why, but for the most of September, pretty much only got matches on every other map but Twin Beaches. It's a bit of a fun one there. But anyways, in the south we have Noob Nath. Don't let the name fool you, his name is actually Nigel. Fighting here for the Wehrmacht, Germany, Deutschland here with the 29th Panzergrenadier Division. In the north stands TheSloth, a mysterious beast here, fighting for the British Empire, the Commonwealth here with the 6th Armoured Division. We have a triple pioneer start here, very orange pest-like here, or Dumaze-like, depending on your ask here from Nath, with the MD42 team following up here. The north double sappers out here for TheSloth. With the section on the way, though, of course, with the triple pioneer start, Nath does focus here on early map control. As always, a big hearty thanks to my Patreon supporters for the continued and general support of the Propagandacast. Keeps allowing me to make all these wonderful videos, so a big hearty thanks there. And a big thanks to all those people who keep commenting and liking on the videos. Helps out immensely as well, than just getting out the word to as many via YouTube. So, MD42 out here for Nath. Sappers busy there with the sandbags as well, sectioning forwards here. Sappers heading northwards. So, very quiet opening here so far, as both sides are just moving out, grabbing terrain. We got sandbags going down, bit of barbed wire here and there. Machine gun team holding forwards here for Nath. And we got a second MD42 team, so triple pioneers, double MD42 here. Point secured. Clearly not intending to fight against the British with his grenadiers so far. And more sandbags barbed wire in the south here. Come on, Otto, make schnell this barbed wire. It's Stacheldraht. Stacheldraht, barbed wire, who cares? MD42 cast in the section here. Second MD42 team almost done, but there you go. Slothy outmaneuvering Nath, possibly. No. Ooh, pops into the wrong building. Perhaps a misclick. Who knows? Either way, though, could have done more damage if the MD42. It does give Nath a bit of time to reposition the machine gun. Sloth, I think, at this point is better off just diverting his attention elsewhere. Though, of course, if he heads southwards, he will run into the second MD42 here from Nath. And we got another section out here for TheSloth and the 6th Armoured. Sappers heading south here towards the beach. The MD42 setting up support on the Pioneers here. Section caught here by the MD42. Quickly suppressed here. Pioneers going to push them back. Pioneers moving forwards here. Up north, points being seized for the Sappers. In the south here, Sappers are hard at work as well. And there you go. Section catching the Pioneers here. Bit of back and forth here. Bit of dancing. But so far, no major clashes or pushes here from either side. Nath in particular, I think, is going to be a bit unable to do so. Whereas Slothy is looking more to build up forces, I think, a bit further before doing that. We got a Dingo on the way here. The Dingo Light Scout car, which was basically just a Daimler Scout car, armoured car, without the turret. The British in general were quite fond of just removing the turret of a vehicle and turning into something else. You also had, for example, the Stuart Light tank, where they removed the turret of that one, creating the Jackalope, or Stuart Kangaroo. Jackalope. And that was basically just used as an armoured personnel carrier of the lighter kind, as an example. Pioneers, the rushing forwards, Dingo, section up level Lee Enfields and Bren guns. Sappers got flanking around here. But pressure the MD42, TheSloth decides to grab northern munitions point. And the fast here, TheSloth also stays clear of Nath mains points of defense here. Going for the southern field point here. Section up support here. No upgrades yet here, though, for any of TheSloth's forces. MD42 team finding himself not quite making the impact it would like to do. Also looks like a bit too fast. It's just decamping, hard to say there. MD42 being called northwards to assist here as Nath realizes the north side is getting very unfriendly for him. And as all this is happening here, he goes straight for his opponent's car front here. One of those interesting features between beaches, the way the cutoff points is set up. They're fairly open to harassment if you're not careful. So that's, you know, one of those interesting things to help keep, I think, Twin Beaches as a map fairly dynamic. Section there pushed back 2-1. Here we got the Luftwaffe company up here for Nath and the 29th Panzergrenadier Division. So while he's getting both fuel points, they're currently not connected. He's going to have to quickly counterattack and deal with that. But I imagine Sloth's attention is more focused right now on the fuel on the hill, meaning while he's trying to get this fuel point, he's losing access to a lot more fuel in the long term here. So he really should, I think, you know, catch on to what's going on and quickly stop Nath before Nath unravels the entire southern front there on the beaches. Machinery positioned to deal with the Germans or the British in the south here. 2-1 almost done. And we also got the Flak 30 being hauled forward to the front line here. The Flak 30 alongside the 2-1 really becoming a bigger partner of the Wehrmacht metagame for a lot of players. As I think more people realizing, hang on, the Flak 30 is pretty damn great. Over here to the Sloth with 2 sections and 2 sappers. No sign of thing falls further here, though I do believe we might be getting some tech here soonish. No, just healing. Just fuel pump there in a neutral. Reconnecting here. Dingols are pushing south as we've got mines here from Nath. Very good. 2-to-1 patrol on the north side here. There we go. Almost got the pioneers. They could go down if Sloth goes for it. Yeah, looking like it. Fritz makes a run for it, but Fritz, I doubt, will make it back home. And there you go. 2-to-1 there. Arrives just in time to see its friend there get cut down in front of it. Pushing ahead here with the 2-to-1. Meanwhile, the Flak 30 has arrived. 2-to-1 pushing forwards here. I would not be surprised if we end up getting some anti-tank rifles out of Slothy to deal with the 2-to-1 here. No battle groups as of yet. Pushing northwards with the Dingoes. Staying clear of the 2-to-1. No tech yet. Again, that fuel harassment there rather meant that Sloth wasn't quite as able to pull as fast as the platoon commander would like to. I believe he also went for the infantry training, which does, of course, further delay him there. I think had Nath gone for heavy tier 1 with Grenadiers, this would have been a lot stronger, but because Nath is rushing out the 2-to-1 plus a Flak 30, the infantry training does fall a bit short here, and that's probably also another reason that Nath went about with the strategy he did, likely anticipating his opponent going for the infantry training, and thus otherwise, meaning if he had gone for the gun, he's going to be in trouble, but because he went for the fast 2-to-1 Flak 30, the infantry training ends up not quite being as impactful as the Sloth had probably hoped for. We didn't train for this. Shut up, lad, and just walk straight into that German 20mm. No, sir, I'd rather not. Another section here, plus a Vickers here from the Sloth. Heavy commitment here to tier 1. He is going for the Boris and tank rifle to counter the 2-to-1 here. Obviously wants to leverage the infantry training more, and I don't blame him for that, but honestly, I probably feel like some commandos might have been better. Meanwhile, the ultra Jaegers out here with the Panzerschreck, so at this point, of course, it does kind of mean here that for the Sloth, trying to push for... Ooh, the 2-to-1 there. Hit a mine, could go down. There we go, got the 2-to-1. Great kill over the Sloth. Bit of a blow there to Nath. And the German 29th Panzergrenadier Jaegers pushing forward with the recce section. With the training, there are incredibly fierce opponents, by the way. Should not be taken lightly. They can really make an impact on infantry. In the south here, we got the Jaeger squad number 2 and the Flak 30 being hauled forwards here. Nath on the counter-offensive, ordering his men forwards. Sappers there, though. Suddenly found themselves on the receiving end of this massive assembly and firepower. Jaeger straight into a mine. The Sloth really mining heavily. And of course, with the 2-to-1 in the mines have already paid off. Big dividends here for the British. Pushing south here with the Dingo section, got back the southern field point, northern field secured here. Nath ordering the Flak set up here in the middle of the road. And we got here the Vickers now to fire from it. Christ, that's a really big machine gun. I do believe that's an autocannon, Gerald. Shut up, Jeremy. This is not the time. Jaeger's there in trouble. Machine gun pushing up, people taking fire from the recce section there. Got calling artillery, good work there by the Sloth. Flak 30, though, is definitely going to force out that Vickers there. Do not underestimate the Flak 30. And there you go, Vickers wipe with the Flak 30 here. Sloth there punished for his slothful behavior in front of the mighty Flieger up there, Kanone 30. No, by the way, technically they were meant to like remove it from the gun and set up in a more stabilized position, but of course that said, in a pinch you didn't always have the time for that, so you could cut around there on the wheels and you just fire from that position. Would obviously be a little less accurate in the long run, as it would be less stabilized, but you could do it. Anyways, we finally got the platoon command post up here for the Sloth. That said, a part of me would not be surprised just going to push straight ahead for the next tier, because with Jaegers and Panzerschrecks, there is less incentive for Sloth to show they go for a lot of vehicles. We also got the Achtrad here, Nath, relying heavily on the Aufklärungsabteilung here of the, Panzeraufklärungsabteilung of the 29th Panzergrenadier Division. So now we got the light ones, now we got the heavy ones, the schwere Panzerspeerwagen. Tank Hunter section holding for 2 mine goes off here. In the center of the Jaegers was the Dingo, and of course we got the Vickers there ripping into them. Fuel pumping grabbing north here by the Pioneers. We got the 6-pounder gun here from the Sloth in response here to Nath's anything but slothful Achtrad response. More than pumping with the recce section. Veterans 1, by the way, already achieved on the Flak 30, though that might be due to some training. Yes, indeed. Thumbs up. Good work using that ability, by the way. Sappers long-term supports at the Pioneers, but the north side here, 6-pounder gun halfway done here. Now it's going to be a bit of a headache for the Achtrad. Flak 30 and Jägers mounting up for an assault on the fuel hill. Flak 30 covering the flank of the assault here. MD42 backs up the main push. Achtrad pushing northwards here. Recce section just about to spot the flares. They of course realised they're a bit too late with that. Look, it worked! We spotted an armoured car. That's not how it's supposed to work, Thompson. Oh. And we got team weapon training here. Wowza. Alright. That means his machine guns and his anti-tank guns, of course, hit veterans even fast, but of course also veterans 1, they perform even better. Definitely a big fan of training here. Over to Nath and the 29th Panzergrenadier. Showing great stuff from the 6-pounder gun here, straight through the Achtrad's frontal armor here. Second Achtrad here for Nath, committing heavily here to the Achtrads versus the Sloth and the 6th Armored Division here. Flak 30 up to cover the flank here. 6-pounder gun shoots. Sap's pushing for the Eagles on the west side here. South side might be a bit of a brief, I think, push here for him. Tank hunter section with the Flak 30. Not looking great here. Sap's pushing forwards into the Achtrads. 6-pounder gun hits and scores veterans 1 in the process. Another great shot there. Flak 30 crew is not having a great time either. Could theoretically risk a loss. There's smokes deployed here. Sappers forced off the Jägers, only caught by an MD42. Flak 30 still at it. There you go, tank on the section forced away there. And we got the company command post up here for the Sloth. Thumbs up, moving course hit for the bigger stuff. Bit of an aggressively set up here, Flak 30 by Nath to some degree. Kind of want to use it actively and aggressively, but at the same time, you also kind of want something slightly in front of it to draw the fire away from it, because you might notice the Flak 30 doesn't have a gun shield. They would fix this, of course, with the Flak 38. That's a fun fact there, but the Flak 30 did not have it. Riding off the southern fuel point here, Nath up aggressively there with his harassment. Dingo Ball is still alive here for the Sloth. Thumbs up. Vickers there ripping into the Pioneers. Of course, at Veterans 1, the Vickers is extra spicy thanks to the training. 25-pounder gun there busy. The 25-pounder gun was the British primary artillery piece of choice. To the point that even when they received, the American, M1 howitzer by the Priest, they actually wanted the Americans to make a version of the Priest with the 25-pounder gun. When the Americans didn't want to do that, the British just made the Sexton instead. So, little fun fact there about the British and their artillery pieces. In the south, though, Nath and the 28th or 29th Panzer Division lining up for another push here. We got 2 Jaeger squads, 2 machine guns, some Flak 30s, and of course the Achtrads. Jaegers pulling up across the hill here, right into the section here. They're unupgraded. Oh, he's getting for more recce there. MD40 catches in the tank hunter section here. 6-pounder gun scores a great hit here. Achtrad forces to fall back here. Vickers setting up to cover the flank. 30 cal. Oh, I mean, Flak 30's going to move into the Vickers. No, the Vickers are set in the wrong direction. That's it. The flank is right now set up. Vickers setting up now, opening up the Flak 30 here. And now the crew's actually in a lot of problems here because the Flak crew cannot be suppressed, meaning they're going to take full damage from the Vickers very fast. And that means the Flak could actually get decrewed here by Sloth's Vickers. Meanwhile, Achtrad taking it from both the 6-pounder gun and the 25-pounder artillery barrage. Gets it away, but the Flak 30 crew does not make it out. The Jaegers taking losses as well. Tank in the section, pushing across the hill here. South side, we finally got the Dinkos, and the Sappers going to push southwards here, regain some control on the beaches. But we got the Flak 30 out in the open here. Part of me, of course, suggests grabbing it, but Nath is obviously not going to let that happen. So the smarter move, of course, is for Sloth just to destroy it and deny it to Nath. Players off here from the Sloth. Back here, troop reinforcing healing. We got foot guards here for the Sloth. And we got the Dingo flanking in, only to get counter-flanked by a Panzerschreck. And Achtrad, of course, further delivers Deutschland there, leaving the Dingo burning by the wayside to the beaches. So there's a man loss on both sides, but definitely say Nath loss up a bit bigger there with the loss of the Flak 30. Losing out to a massive anti-aircraft gunner. Well, well-sized anti-aircraft gun definitely hurts him. In the south, the Achtrad striking out the Sappers. Artillery called in the building, anticipating that Nath would run into it. At least it looked like it was calling it artillery. Maybe it wasn't. Oh, no, there we go. Meanwhile, we got the foot guards out with the Thompsons and the bazookas. And don't worry, for those wondering what that sound is, that is the sound of naval blockade, which for some reason has an air raid siren. But yeah, basically means neutral points can't be seized by Nath. Now, he can decap a point, but he can't then grab it for himself. So yeah, my apologies for anyone, you know, in the actual zone where they might actually hear this sound. It's the game. Foot guards here, there's the Jaegers. Artillery fire keeps raining down the building here. Foot guards are tanks with losses. The Arcade there. Landings, good hits, plus the Jaegers G43s here. Sappers pulling forwards. Veteran 2 already here. Foot guards, already veterans runs full course thanks to their training. Jaegers forced off here. Promenade. Arcade moving in. Foot guards, I think I have to fall back here soon. Fighting remains pretty fierce here. North side. Pioneer start again with the support MD42. Probably the best here for Sloth to pull back his foot guards. Nemo back at the base. He could here go for the Crom or the Crusader tank here. He could also go for the Matilda, but here's the thing, he's actually researched Grant already, so he's actually going to push for a Grant, which I think is a very lovely decision. I do think the Grant is a very nice tank. Nemo, we got Nath here with the Panzer Company. So that might mean some Panzer IVs and maybe even some Starstruppen. Very likely Panzer IVs here, so while he has gone for Mechanized, he's clearly not just going to stall out for a Panther. Very sensible here. Foot guards, sappers are reinforcing healing. You're under my command now. Anyway, Section 8, low health, straight to the MD42 there. Definitely should have pulled that one back for healing. And that's definitely, I think, is something you want to keep in mind when playing CoH3. Sometimes, like, you know, you just want to pull back a unit for healing. Like, even if it's like full strength, like, it'll be like, you know, very low in health. And sure, you could send it head there, but sometimes it's just better to pull it back for healing, preserve the manpower. South side here, a Recce section moving forwards. Panther 4 there for Nath and the 29th Panzer Grenadier Division. Grants, no, not a Grant Crusader here for the Sloth. Guess he didn't want to wait for the Grant for too long. I blame him. Meanwhile, Panther... Oh, he's going for the Sturmpanzer? That's an interesting move. I was definitely expecting a Panther 4 here from Nath, but... Oh, cancels it for the Panther 4. Looks like there's a bit of hesitance here from Nath. Meanwhile, foot guards, range strength MD42. Seems like Sloth might have been slightly absent-minded there, hard to say there. In the south, the Arctic machine gun support and Jaeger support here, slowly pushing into the beaches. Got the Crusader heading northwards, adding the 6-pounder gun there, turning into Crusader 3. And just a fun fact, that 6-pounder gun turret with the gun in it would actually eventually be used on armored cars. I believe it was the Staghound, where they basically, towards the end, will upgrade those by basically just adding the turret of the Crusader 3 onto it. But there you go, almost got the machine gun crew here. But the Jaegers for the Pantrix. Oh, gets the machine gun what? Good work here by the Sloth and his tanker. In the south, the German advance continues. Jaegers backed up by Pioneers and machine gun pushing ahead. We got minesweepers out there spotting countless mines here by the Sloth. Thumbs up, of course, to both Sloth for mining and Nath for, well, sweeping. Panther 4 pushing ahead here. Panzerkampfwagen 4. We got 396 for 327. Points being seized here. German forces are rapidly advancing here. Good aggressive pace here. Foot guards backed up by a lot of Recce sections on the move here. Crusader in need of some hefty repairs here. I'm guessing next cut where will be a Grant tank here from the Sloth. Just spread out his forces here, by the way, in anticipation of possible machine gun. He does slowly do so, but his Recce sections are still being caught here. Clearly was not expecting, I guess, the machine guns so aggressive set up in Nate, so thumbs up to Nate, of course, for catching his opponent off guard with that. Foot guards pursuing the Arctic, but I think he may have to try and flank around here to assist his Recce section, because they're always going to be target practice for the German machine gun crew. Crusader being fixed up here, could soon go for the Grant. He's close there, very close in fact. Foot guards there. Still not flanking the MD42. I feel like this is a slight oversight by the Sloth here. Like, if he flanked the machine gun and popped a Gammon bomb, he could very well clear it out. Instead, he now gets caught by another MD42 team, and the foot guards are forced off here, rather meaning a lot of wasted men and time here, I feel like, on the beaches. Crusader's good to go again. Grant is on the way for the Sloth. Now, Nath is the one to lay down the mines here on the southeastern beaches. Jaeger's been caught with the Vickers, Panther 4 joining in. Crusader moving on to the fuel hill. Even as Nath and the German army is securing control of the beaches. Crusader here versus the Arctguard. Oh dear, looks like Nath wasn't paying attention. He does deploy smoke here, 6-pounder guns, anti-tank rifles, sappers. It's all going on here. I think the Arctguard's going to finally go down here, courtesy of the Crusader. No, the Crusader misses. Panther 4, they're heavily damaged. One more shot for the Crusader. The Arctguard will go down. Pop goes the Weasel in a most explosive manner. Sappers, Jaegers pushing forward. Couldn't even take out the Panther 4 here. Very good chance here. Grant out. There you go, flanking the Panther 4 here. Nath and the 29th Panzergrenadier Division is in some pretty deep sauerkraut. And there we go, the Panther 4 is lit up. Arctguard moving up here. Sappers versus the Pioneers trying to go for the cutoff point, but Nath is putting up a hasty and desperate defense of the cutoff point. Having just lost his Arctguard and a Panther 4, Nath's position suddenly became a lot more precarious. And of course, we now got Grants and Crusaders here versus Nath. Check out the Grant here with its 2 guns can deploy a lot of firepower here. There you go, Panzerix are putting in some pressure here. Crusader could try and assist the Grant here versus the Jaegers. Rather risky of Nath to pop the Jaegers into the building here, considering the building is right about to collapse. Yep, one more shot here and that thing's going to go down. Building there collapsed right behind them. A good thing they left just in time here, Helmut. Helmut! Oh, scheisse, he's dead. Almost got them wiped here. Patrick pushing back the Crusader. Close call here for Nath. Very close call, and he also lost the Jaeger squad on top of all the other stuff. That would really put Nath into a terrible position. Crusader needs to be careful though, getting a bit too comfortable here with the situation in this. Panzerschreck rams through the frontal armor of the Grant tank here. Note the Grant was the British version of the M3 Lee, as they requested some minor modifications to the turret, because they didn't like the American version of it. 6-pounder gun being hit here by the Arctguard. MD-42 is the foot guards there, suppressing them as they try to go for the carve point. Arctguard, they're down deeper. Got the 6-pounder gun crew here. Quite the blow there to the Sloth. Should definitely counterattack, I think, there before it becomes too big of a problem. The South Panther 4 arriving to stabilize the southern frontier. Makers setting up. Crusader being fixed up. Grant further back there, need repairs. Recce sections of the building getting hosed by MD-42 fire. And the event Vickers is pushing back the MD-42 there. 6-pounder gun napped here by Nath's Pioneer. Crusader moving forwards here for the Sloth, close to Vetchi 2. Well, I think he's gone for training for that one as well, to be honest. But there you go. Next up, the Grant there, close to Vetchi 2-1. Sappers moving ahead here, but they are very low on health. This is planning to pop on number 69 there. There we go. He is. At the eggs, he probably should withdraw, and even then, he probably should withdraw. He did not. Southeast section pushed back by the Panzerkampfwagen. Map control is fairly evenly split, though a bit chaotic and hectic. Though again, I do think that's one element of Twin Beaches design, which helps, I think, create a lot of dynamic matches. Like, it's very difficult to just set up like a easy defense like you could on a lot of CoH3 maps. There's a lot of ways to flank around your opponents or just threaten them by going for those cutoff points. Meanwhile, Jaeger's caught out in the open here. Worth noting, though, Nath hasn't really used, I think, a lot of smoke here from them, except right now there, and even then it's too late. 3 Jaeger squads, no stars from out of Nath. Would like to see some. I do think they're quite solid, but that is just me. Grant there fixed up as well here for the Sloth. Another fun fact about the Sloth, or the Grant tank, not the Sloth, but the Grant, is basically it was actually a riveted tank because the Americans did take a bit of a while to like get the hang of welding and more specifically getting enough trained welders. So the Grant and the lead tank were actually riveted tanks, which is typically not discussed so much and is a bit of a downside as the rivets can go flying once the tank is hit by armor-piercing rounds, creating rather dangerous situations on the inside of the tank. This was also, by the way, a major issue with the Italian tanks. Anyways, Grant pushing forwards here. And we got another Crusader out here for the Sloth. Kind of was expecting more Grants because once you start get going with Grants, in my opinion, you just want a lot of Grants. Because that way you just get a lot of guns. Grenades off here. Gun bomb almost takes out the Nath machine gun crew there. Down to 1 man. Grant there being hammered. Need to fall back. Need to fall back. Sloth though extending here. And Nath baiting into the Panther X and the Panther 4 there. As artillery called in, he needs Crusaders in this as support. Oh, they stopped up the ground. Costing him the ground here. Naval artillery bombardment. Dodges it though. Close call there for Nath though. Crusader takes out the Panther 4. Still a grand for Panther 4. It's not a great trade here. And he's about to lose the Crusader, which definitely makes it less great, even more so. Meanwhile, Nath has summoned forth a Panther here from Core Reserve, and the Crusader is down. Heavy losses here. Tanks blowing up left and right here. Now, Nath has a Panther. The Panzerkampfwagen 5 Ausführung D. Crusader falling back. Fun fact about the Panther, but they actually had incredibly slow reverse speeds, having basically like I think one reverse gear. So they moved very slowly in the reverse. In fact, many crews would just basically try and turn around the entire tank and just go forwards instead, so of course exposed to the rear, but it made more sense to them than just trying to reverse at an incredibly painfully slow speed. But that's a fact. It's typically very rarely discussed about the Panther, but it had a really slow reverse. Meanwhile, up here, Crusader being repaired, but big blow there to TheSloth. He was ahead there, but losing both the Crusader and a Grant there really leaves him in a bad spot there versus Nath and the 29th Panzergrenadier. It really allows Nath, I think, to catch up with his opponent. Because otherwise, Nath was really on the receiving end of a lot of unpleasantries. Panther hanging back. Another 6-pounder gun crew out here for TheSloth. And no training for the armored vehicles. Not to blame him now. Panther just hanging back. I feel like Nath could be a bit more active with the Panther. The Panzerkampfwagen 5. Jägers there being shot to bits by the Recce section. Well, he's not far away from another Grant tank here. He's not too far off. 6-pounder gun scores are great in the Outguard. Crusader lands another one. We do have the anti-tank rocket launcher up here for the TheSloth. We got 249 versus 268. Jäger's in a bit of a pickle here out in the open. We got the Panther. Ready. We got orders, lads. As an additional fun side fact about the Panther, they were actually like, you know, shortly after the Panther was beginning to develop the Panther 2 project, because the Panther in particular sidearm was a bit of a concern as it was fairly weak. And they figured, you know, that wasn't good enough. Then they just figured out, you know what, we can just add side skirts to the Panther, like here, and, you know, that kind of fixed the issue. So they did that, and the entire Panther 2 program got scrapped. Fun fact. Anyways, Recce section falling back, tank on the section moving southwards here. Crusader roaming about here. Panther, of course, could do with some repairs here for Nath and the 29th. Jägers pushing up across the hill under cover smoke. Good use of smoke there by Nath. Very good use. In the south, Pioneers, they're trying to sneak up here, but they do not escape the watchful eyes of TheSloth. And are quickly dispatched there. After pushing forwards here. Crusader versus the Arctard forcing it back here. Close to the ace on that one, by the way. Good work there. Panther moving for that. And the Jägers, caught point blank range versus the Ace Vickers with training. That is definitely a great way to have your day permanently ruined. Terminally so. Crusader, they're doing a lot of damage. Jägers push back. Panther poking about in the south here. We got the anti-tank section moving up. And we got another Grant here for TheSloth. South here, mine goes off, leaving some of TheSloth's men, well, terminally slothful. And another Panther 4 here for Nath and the 29th Panzergrenadier Division. Still no stars to them. Finally, they're going to be heavily focused on the north here around the hill, but TheSloth, I think, does put up a fairly good effort at times in the south here versus Nath. Meanwhile, Grant almost done there. Like, you can get, like, several Grants going. That could be really powerful for TheSloth, at least in my experience. You say get 3 Grants out, and then particularly get them out then with training on. They actually become really menacing. They can really deliver, like, immense amounts of firepower, and then use also the steady assault ability. I've taken out Panthers with that. And I have opponents knock out my Tigers with like countless grants with the steady assault and training. So definitely I think something you consider for Sloth once it gets like, going, get a series 2 to 3 grants, get training, and then, go nuts.
How many guns do you need? We got them.
Jaeger this spot, going for the Vickers flank here. And again, ace level Vickers here. Definitely bad news. You get smoke here. Crusaders are opening in. Panther going for the grant here. May want to deploy the Lloyd here to try and buy time. 6 point on the Panther. And there you go. RAF comes screaming in here with the rockets. That said, the angle is a bit off here, saving the Panther a lot of damage. Sappers there in trouble. Vickers trying to turn around here. We got the Panther forming in as well here. It's a really hectic and chaotic engagement here, but it is one that favors Nath as he pushes through the smoke here and past the Loiters. There you go. Panther caught here. Lost the foot guards at some point. That's definitely not great here. Panther pushing to the base here. Grant taking a retreat here. Crusader moving forwards here. Tank on the section nearby. We don't have grenades for the Sloth. Pushing towards the hill here to regain the fuel. Panther being pushed back. Got a 6 pounder on the flank here. Scoring a great hit here. We even got Mechanized assault there for Nath. Powerful ability and probably one that should be toned down with the self-repair part of it. Maybe give him some other advantage to compensate. Crusader going forward here. 6 pounder keeps scoring great hits here. Almost got it. Panther moving forwards. Close veterans 1. Almost got the Panther 4 here. One more shot. Oh, missed. 6 pounder gun tank. Oh, stopped at the wrong place. He does get the Panther 4, but the problem is kind of needs numbers versus the Panther, and that loss at the Crusade definitely makes it count. Over to Nath, by the way. Jaeger's pushing back in the southeast level.
250 points remain for us.
Phew. Akkad on the move. And we got the Vickers moving forwards here. Only to get caught here by the Akkad. Still no Starstorm here. We got a big push here by Nath. Jaegers, machine guns, pioneers, Vickers, then deep trouble, and I think Sloth is going to lose it. That's going to be a huge blow to the Sloth. Huge. Yep. We are getting, I think, some commandos here. It looks to be the light machine gun ones here. Yep. But yeah, losing the Vickers there really hurts the Sloth. Massively so. That Vickers, in particular the ace level, really was doing some heavy lifting for the Sloth here against Nath. So losing that one really, I think, does diminish what the Sloth can do this Nath. We got another Panther 4 there in the south. Vickers commandos versus the MD42 there being raked with hot Jonah fire on the beaches. Recce section trouble with the Jaegers with the G43s. The Gewehr 43. Right there waiting repairs. And that's been for some time. That's a bit of a slip there for the Sloth. Bit of a slip. North MD force the tank on the section. Jaegers flanking up behind here. Nath keeping up the aggression here and the momentum. Good to see. You could also like go for Starstorm Assault package of the Vesper, though something tells me probably not going to bother with that. That said, the Starstorm Assault packages are, I think, legitimately good, so you could consider that.
Panzer 4 is field ready.
Another Panther 4 ready, though. No training, though, by the way, on his Panzers. Minor oversight there, I would say. Minor. Quickly to secure the hill here with machine guns and the tank guns, of course, plenty of Jaegers. Reinforcing healing. Right, heading southwards there.
Now get back into the fight. Strike fear into the head. We're ready.
Jaeger standing about. Very quiet here for once. I think Nath is building up for another push here. Probably just trying to figure out his options. Meanwhile, Sloth is slow moving ahead here. Trying to avoid like hitting any mines, getting caught by like any serious Jaeger ambushes there. Since all of them do have access to the ambush tactics there, going to be caught with the Grant and the Recce section, 6 point support. Panther on the move, Panther on the move here. Recce section could screen the flank here a bit. Machine gun though is definitely a bit of a precarious position. We'll have to withdraw here. And there you go, rocket launcher called in once more. The RAF is sent in to disperse the German panzers. Another Push back, but there you go. Machine gun wiped out here. Patrick team going for the flank here. Sap swimming up to clear that out. Could pop a grenade here. The number's 69 percussive. Jaegers there, getting mauled. Might go off for the other Jaegers here. Almost got the Jaeger squad here, but looks like it will get away. Definitely think should make a run for the machine gun, going off with it. More loiters here. Caught though by the massive rock outcropping there. Big win there for Nath. Over to the Sloth. 6-pounder gun there. Opening up the Panther. But we got Jaegers flanking on the ground here. Situation is highly messy here now for the Sloth. It's going to have to try and get away. More rocket loader here. Panther being caught in the storm of fire here. Jaeger smoking out the 6-pounder gun. And the Grant goes down. We do have another Grant up. We also got the commands moving in here. Machine guns being set up here. 6-pounder guns being mauled. It's a messy, obviously, situation to put it mildly. Panther taking hits from the 6-pounder guns to the rear here through the smoke. Grant taking fire. Panther from the other flank here. Jaeger's in trouble. Panther is down to 7 points of defense here. Grant getting brutally blasted to bits here. Didn't get the Jaegers. He's going to lose the Grant here to the Panther 4. 6-pounder turning around here. Veggie 2 already, but goes down to the Arcguard. Panther 4 went down as well. We got armored assault here, or mechanized assault here from Nath. Panther's going to stay clear here. What a pretty crazy engagement there. Nath got fairly lucky. None of his Jaegers actually got wiped. I would say several of them were definitely within range of getting wiped here. Pat, I think, Sloth able to wipe any of those. I think he'd be in a much better position than he is now. Also, didn't get that Panther. That's some really extreme luck there for Nath. Meanwhile, we got another Arcguard here. Feels like Nath is just getting a bit desperate here, perhaps a bit restless. Just trying to, like, plug in the gaps as fast as possible here. 6-pounder gun moving forwards here. Sloth is also getting a bit reckless here. I imagine the current situation is causing him to, like, take more risks. And I think it's actually healthy a bit here. To some extent, of course, you want to take some amount of risk, particularly when you're behind like this, but there's also, I think, some limits. There we go. An attempt to buy time. We got naval blockade active again. Sap setting a mine. Commands going for northern field point. Grant moving forwards. Arcguard pushing north. It's backed up by the Jaegers. And the Grant here goes for the Arcguard. Pummeling the heavy armored car there. Smoke deployed, but I don't think it's enough here versus the Grant to save it. Close call there. Up north, Arcguard falls away the commandos, almost taking out the entire section. Grant misses both shots there. Very good luck here for Nath. Jaegers are setting up and grabbing the 6-pounder gun there. Further developing on Sloth's current anti-tank issues. Panther being pushed back. Jaegers getting hits here from the Grant. Another Panther 4 for Nath. Got to loiter again. Really not having much luck with those loiters. Jaegers pushing across here. Straight into a recce section. Others are being, well, more or less crushed here by the Grant's massive gunfire power and just poor Fritz. Back here, troop reinforcing healing. Nothing further than the base of the Sloth. We got 142 and 28 here. The situation for the Germans is definitely somewhat destabilized. Oh, the British are destabilizing. The Germans are stabilizing. Panther 4 is arriving. We got the recce section. There was the Jaegers. Got the LMGs moving up here for the commandos.
Victory point is in enemy hands. Orders.
Pushing forward here. Grab northern one with the Arcguard. Right there being fixed up. Bit of quantity once more as Nath is rebuilding. He's got a lot of heavily damaged equipment. Of course, a lot of his Jaegers need reinforcements, healing. Still no star swimming there for Nath. Grant there is almost fixed up. It's also very close to Veteran 2-1. Yes, training though still. Oh, yeah, he does the last time training. And the center, the commandos versus the Jaegers, but they are definitely receiving a German welcome there, so getting shot at from several sides here. 6 Pentagon setting up support, but I think this is a bit of an extension here by Sloth, considering there's nothing to really support the 6 Pentagon except, like, you know, that one commando section, which is already getting ripped apart, and then some. In the south, machine going for the southern point. Grant moving forwards. He could go for more Grant soon, I suppose. Meanwhile, Nath building up for another push here. Got 123 versus 221 to grab the southern point. Grant moving up. 6 Pentagon moving up. Mines on the flank there. In case Nath goes for deep flank. Very sensible. Moments away from another Grant there, I think. There you go. 6 Pentagon setting up. Grant moving in. Panther 4 taking hits here from British guns. And it's already down to less than half health here. But there you go. Jaeger's flanking the 6 Pentagon. And again, note the way that Nath makes really good use of the Jaeger's smoke to just neutralize temporarily the anti-tank guns, effectively suppressing them. 2 thumbs up there to Nath for his great use of the Jaeger smoke here, making it very difficult for Sloth to rely heavily on his anti-tank guns here versus Nath. Grant here being swarmed, flanked. Panther 4, Panther diving in here. Jaeger's on the flanks while the Grant is back down to sliver health here. Jaeger's pushed back here. Grant knocked out. Turrets and flying. Might see another RAF interception here with the loiters. Well, if it's time, it's now or never. Sap's about to get wiped out. Machine gun team wiped out. We do get another loiter, but now Sloth is just taking immense losses here from Nath. Immense losses. North here, section caught by the M42 team here. 213 was on 18, grabbing the eastern victory point here. We got another Crusader here for the Sloth. Sounding it's time for something a bit cheaper and faster. Good shots there from the anti-tank section on the Achterrad. Now this is rocket launches. The Achterrad once more stays clear of it. Back here, reinforcing healing. Grant is on. He actually went for the Grant again. I don't think the Grant is a bad tank, but I feel like the way that Sloth keeps losing them and being unable to build up like critical mass, does slightly undercut it at this point. But there you go. Another Grant out. Another one. We got 213% on 5 here. Not looking super great here for the Sloth. Nath and the 29th Panzergrenadier, each one's down to build up advantage in most ways. We've got more mines from the Sloth. Grant's Recce section pushing for that northern fuel hill by the looks of it. Jaegers here getting plastered with 5. Panther moving forwards close for HE2. We got Ace Sappers advancing here with the Sten guns. Concerning with training as well that these Sappers do pack a mean punch if they get close. That said, against, you know, all this long-range firepower, not so much. After pursuing here, Grant hanging back, might be hoping to bait his opponent some mines here. Another Grant all the way there for the Sloth. Still no grenades, by the way, here for the Sloth here versus Nath. Panther moving forwards. Mine goes off in the Panther 4 there, damaging the engine, exposing the rear at that. Oof. Meanwhile, up here, Commander's putting up a fierce defense of the victory point, but they're getting absolutely destroyed here by the Achterrad and the MU42. Jaeger's pushing forward here. Panther 4 getting away. Grant's just pulling back towards the base here. Splitting up. Now we got the Jaegers with one of the Grants here. Mine goes off in the Achterrad there as well. Sloth's mines are paying off, but he can't actually deliver the finishing blow in either case. Grant's here versus the Panther backed up the Jaegers. Tank section pushing southwards here. Panther bouncing both shots from the Grant here. The South, the Achterrad forcing back the tank 100 section. We got 69 versus 213 points here. The Sloth situation is getting ever more dire by the moment, and he's just struggling to find a way out. Jaeger's just blowing apart their own cover, as a company who's classic with infantry teams. At some point, they're just going to blow up their own cover. There you go. Jaegers on the receiving end. They have a full volley here of both Grants and their 4 guns. 213 versus 46. Pulling ahead here slowly but surely. Got the carve point back here. Panthers falling back. Panther 4. There we got the 6-pounder gun moving up. Another fresh defense here from Nath. Grant's moving towards the southern beaches, but that does mean they're open to assault from here in the beach town. Almost got the 6-pounder gun crew here. No shots though missing. Fortunately for Nath, less so for the Sloth. Grants are heavily damaged. I think, yeah, one Grant down. Second Grant's going to go down any moment now here. We do get another Loiter here. Goes for the Arctard. Miss. Oh, gets the Arctard. There you go. GG. Game over. Game over. Got to the stat screen there, by the way. That was a brutal back and forth fight here, but in the end, Nath got ahead there. Sort of smaller tactical wins here and there, allowed to build up an advantage. Sloth losing his foot guards, for example, didn't help him. But also, like, you know, I think he should have just, when he was going for grants, he should have just pushed harder for them rather than suddenly switching back to Crusaders. And I think he also should have gone for the training. Had, in fact, had just say 3 grants with training, I think Nath would have been in a much worse position. That said, another thing is there's all these Jaegers with Panzerstrakes. You really want Matildas. Matildas are definitely a bit busted, but at the same time, they're also currently your best, by far, counter just Jaegers with Panzerstrakes. Like, if I see Jaegers from the Wehrmacht as the Brits, I will always go for at least one Matilda, because the Matilda will absolutely crush them. I think had Sloth gone for at least just one Matilda to help deal with the Jaegers, Nath would also have been in a significantly less great position. But overall, nice back and forth fight here. Some good tactical on from both sides, but then Nath was just able to extract more advantages as the game went on and sort of pull ahead there. So, GG, game over. Hope you all enjoyed the match. Hope you learned something from it. If you did, subscribe, like, share. Comment, tell your friends, tell your family, but not your enemies. And as always, you can support the Propagandacast by donating or pledging on Patreon. Links are in the video description. This is Imperial Link saying cheers and see you all tomorrow for another episode. Bye, everyone.